Hello everyone. Welcome to English Lane. Today, I want you to take a slow breath and give your mind a moment of peace. Because this video is not just a lesson. It is a calm and powerful guide that will help you understand one of the most valuable skills in life: how to focus deeply. In this long and meaningful listening journey, you will learn 12 powerful principles that will show you how to clear mental noise, how to protect your attention, how to stay present with one task, and how to enter a deep state of concentration where your mind feels sharp, calm, and fully alive. You will discover how to remove distractions, how to train your brain to stop jumping from thought to thought, how to build strong attention habits, and how to use focus to improve your work, your learning, your English practice, and your overall life. These lessons will not only help you concentrate better, they will strengthen your discipline, your clarity, your inner peace, and your ability to stay with what truly matters. And because this video is created with slow, clear, natural English, it will be extremely helpful for your listening practice. You will improve your understanding, your focus, your vocabulary, and your ability to follow long English speech with ease. So, relax. Let your mind open, and get ready to learn how to develop deep focus in a way that truly transforms your life. Your journey starts now. Tip 1. Create inner stillness. Before you begin, if you want to develop deep focus, the first thing you must understand is that the mind cannot concentrate when it is tense, noisy, or emotionally crowded. Most people try to force themselves to focus while their thoughts are rushing in every direction. They open a book, but their mind is still thinking about a conversation from earlier. They start working, but their brain is still carrying stress from yesterday. They sit down to study, but their attention is floating between messages, notifications, memories, and worries. In this state, no amount of discipline will help because the mind is not ready. The mind needs a moment of stillness before it can enter a state of deep concentration. Inner stillness is not about silence around you. It is about silence inside you. It means giving your brain a chance to breathe. Before you begin any important task, your studying, your English listening practice, your reading, your planning, pause for a moment and let your mind settle. Sit comfortably. Relax your shoulders. Close your eyes for a few seconds and take one slow, deep breath. Let your thoughts slow down naturally, without forcing them. Tell yourself gently, I am safe. I am calm. I am here. This tiny moment signals your brain that it no longer needs to run in survival mode. It can stop worrying. It can stop jumping. It can allow itself to focus. When you create inner stillness, your mind becomes like a quiet lake. Thoughts that were loud become softer. Emotions that were heavy become lighter. Worries that were sharp become distant. And in that calmness, focus begins to rise. You cannot dive into deep thinking when your mind is shaking like water disturbed by wind. Stillness is the surface that allows depth. Stillness opens the door. Stillness prepares the mind. Most people ignore this step and then blame themselves when they cannot focus. But your brain cannot enter deep concentration through pressure. It enters through peace. So before you begin your work or your study, give yourself 30 seconds of calm. These 30 seconds will save you 30 minutes of distraction. Because a peaceful mind is a powerful mind, and deep focus always begins with stillness. Tip 2. Clear the mental noise that breaks your focus. If you want to focus deeply, you must first understand what breaks your focus in the first place. Most people believe distraction comes from outside, from phones, notifications, noise, or technology. But the truth is deeper. The biggest distractions are not around you. They are inside you. The thoughts you didn't finish, the emotions you didn't process, the worries you didn't face, the decisions you postponed, the memories that rise without warning. These create mental noise. And mental noise is the #1 enemy of deep focus. Imagine trying to read a book while 10 different people talk inside your mind. One voice reminds you of unfinished work. Another voice worries about tomorrow. Another voice repeats something someone said earlier. Another voice imagines something that might happen. You try to concentrate, but you are surrounded by invisible noise. This noise drains your attention long before any phone notification ever appears. And unless you learn to quiet this inner noise, you will always struggle to focus, no matter how quiet your room is. So, how do you clear mental noise? Not by fighting your thoughts. Fighting makes them stronger. Not by forcing silence. Pressure creates more noise. You clear mental noise through gentle awareness. When a thought appears, like, "I forgot to do something," simply notice it. You don't need to solve it now. You don't need to react. Just say to yourself silently, "I see this thought," and let it pass. When a worry rises, like, "What if I fail?" don't argue with it. Just acknowledge it and let it drift away like a cloud moving across the sky. When your mind starts planning something unnecessary, observe it and slowly bring your attention back to your breath or your task. This process is simple, but it is powerful because awareness weakens the grip of unnecessary thoughts. Mental noise becomes loud only when you let it take control. But when you watch it calmly, it loses power. Your mind begins to understand that not every thought deserves attention. And as you practice this again and again, the noise begins to fade naturally. Your thoughts become slower. Your emotions become quieter. Your mind becomes clearer. And in that clarity, deep focus becomes possible. When you learn to recognize mental noise instead of reacting to it, you take back control of your mind. You become the driver again, not the passenger. And this is the foundation of deep focus. The ability to let go of inner noise so your awareness can stay with one thing fully, calmly, and completely. Tip 3. Train your mind to stay with one task at a time. Deep focus is impossible when your attention is divided. Yet most people try to focus while thinking about many things at once. They sit to study, but their mind is thinking about messages. They start listening to English, but their thoughts jump to notifications. They open a book, but somewhere inside, another part of their mind is planning tomorrow. This split attention is one of the biggest reasons why people feel distracted, overwhelmed, and mentally tired. Your brain is not designed to handle multiple tasks deeply at the same time. Every time you switch from one task to another, you lose mental energy, clarity, and momentum, even if the switch lasts only a few seconds. This is called attention residue, and it weakens your ability to concentrate for minutes afterward. This is why doing 10 things in 1 hour makes you feel exhausted, while doing one thing for 1 hour makes you feel powerful. To develop deep focus, you must teach your mind a new habit, the habit of single attention. This means choosing one task and giving it your full, undivided awareness. When you do this, your brain begins to work in a different mode, a mode of depth, clarity, and immersion. You understand things faster. You remember things longer. You finish tasks with higher quality. And most importantly, you begin to feel the strength of your own mind returning. Training single-task attention begins with a simple decision. For the next 30 minutes, I will focus on only this one thing. It could be your English listening practice, your reading, your studying, your writing, or your work. Once you choose that one task, you gently tell your mind, everything else can wait. And every time your mind tries to escape, which it will, you bring it back without frustration, without anger, without judgment. This act of returning is the true training. Every return strengthens your attention. Every return sharpens your discipline. Every return builds your focus muscle. In the beginning, your mind will want to run because it is used to constant stimulation. It is addicted to jumping. It is uncomfortable with stillness. But the more you practice staying with one task, the more natural it becomes. Like a river that becomes calm when it has only one direction to flow, your mind becomes peaceful when it has only one thing to hold. Over time, you begin to feel something powerful. Your mind stops fighting you. It starts supporting you. It becomes steady, loyal, grounded. And that experience is the heart of deep focus. You do not need perfection to build deep focus. You only need commitment. Commit to one task. Commit to being present. Commit to bringing your mind back when it wanders. If you can do this, even for short periods every day, your focus will grow stronger than you ever imagined. Because the mind becomes powerful not by doing many things, but by learning to stay fully with one. Tip 4. Protect your energy, because focus depends on how you feel. Most people think focus is a mental skill, but deep focus is much more than that. It is an energetic state. Your ability to concentrate does not depend only on your brain. It depends on your physical energy, your emotional balance, and your inner calmness. When your body is tired, when your emotions are heavy, when your mind is stressed, your focus becomes weak, no matter how hard you try. A tired brain looks for easy stimulation. Scrolling, checking the phone, random videos. Because these activities require almost no effort. A calm, well-rested brain is able to enter deep work naturally, without fighting itself. This is why, before judging your focus, you must check your energy. Your energy is influenced by simple things. Did you sleep well? Did you drink enough water? Did you rest between tasks? Did you give your mind time to breathe? Did you start your morning with peace or with chaos? Many people wake up and immediately check their phone. Within seconds, their attention is attacked by messages, notifications, and digital noise. Without realizing it, they begin the day in a stressed, fragmented state. And then, when they try to focus later, their mind refuses because it never had time to settle. To build deep focus, you must treat your energy with respect. Sleep is not just rest. It is the foundation of attention. When your brain is rested, focus becomes sharp and natural. When your brain is exhausted, focus becomes a fight. But energy is not only physical, it is emotional. When you carry stress, worry, fear, or frustration, these emotions take up space inside your mind. Even if you sit to study, part of your attention is still busy processing emotions. You cannot dive deeply into work when your heart is heavy. This is why emotional self-care is essential. Sometimes before you work, you need to breathe, Sometimes you need to stretch. Sometimes you need to journal your thoughts. Sometimes you need to sit quietly for a minute and allow your emotions to settle. These small acts clear the emotional fog around your mind, allowing your focus to grow. Protecting your energy also means avoiding activities that drain your attention before you even begin your real work. Endless scrolling, jumping between apps, checking social media every few minutes. These habits weaken your mental muscles. They train your mind to seek constant stimulation. And the more stimulation you consume, the weaker your natural focus becomes. But when you control your environment, reduce unnecessary noise, and give yourself healthy breaks, your mind begins to recover. Deep focus is not possible when your energy is scattered. But when your energy is grounded, when your body feels rested, when your emotions feel lighter, when your environment feels calm, your mind becomes capable of extraordinary clarity. That is why protecting your energy is not optional. It is a requirement. When your energy rises, your focus rises with it. And when you take care of your inner world, your outer productivity transforms. Tip 5. Build a ritual that signals your mind. Now we focus. If you want deep focus every day, you must teach your brain when to switch into that state. Most people sit down to study or work without any preparation. One moment they are scrolling, the next moment they want to concentrate. But the brain cannot make this jump instantly. It needs a gentle transition. It needs a signal, a pattern, a familiar beginning that tells it, now we enter the state of focus. This is why creating a simple ritual before you start any deep work is one of the most powerful habits you can build. A ritual doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as small as making a cup of tea, arranging your desk, turning off notifications, opening your notebook, taking 3 slow breaths, and saying silently to yourself, for the next 30 minutes, this is the only thing I will do. When you repeat this sequence every day, your brain begins to recognize it. It starts associating that ritual with concentration. As soon as you begin your ritual, your mind automatically becomes calmer, more present, and more focused, even before you start the actual work. Think about how athletes prepare before a game. They stretch, breathe, visualize, and go through the same steps every time. This consistency doesn't just prepare their body, it prepares their mind. Performers, speakers, artists, and even pilots do the same. They follow rituals because rituals signal the brain to shift into a different mode. When you build a ritual for deep focus, you are training your mind the same way professionals train for excellence. Your ritual is also important because it reduces resistance. Starting work is often the hardest part. The mind fears the effort, the commitment, the stillness, the challenge. But when you follow a familiar ritual, your brain feels safe. It feels guided. It feels supported. You don't jump into work with pressure. You glide into it smoothly. The ritual becomes the bridge between distraction and deep focus. Over time, your ritual becomes sacred. It becomes the moment when you return to yourself. It becomes the space where you leave noise behind and step into clarity. And the more consistent you are, the stronger this association becomes. Eventually, you will notice something amazing. The moment you begin your ritual, your mind will naturally want to focus. It will settle faster. It will resist distraction less. It will enter the deep state more quickly because you have trained it to do so. Deep focus is not just about what you do during the work. It is about how you begin. When the beginning is calm, intentional, and familiar, the rest becomes easier. Ritual creates rhythm, rhythm creates habit, and habit creates a focused mind. And once your mind learns this rhythm, deep focus becomes not a struggle, but a natural state that you can access whenever you need it. Tip 6. Remove the hidden distractions that steal your focus. Quietly. Most people believe that distraction comes only from obvious things. Phones, messages, noise, social media, people talking. But the truth is, the most destructive distractions are the ones you don't notice. They do not make sound. They do not vibrate. They do not flash on your screen. Yet they quietly eat away your attention from the inside. These hidden distractions are far more powerful because you don't fight them. You don't even realize they are pulling you away from your work. A hidden distraction can be a messy desk where your eyes keep catching unnecessary objects. It can be an uncomfortable chair that makes your body restless without you noticing. It can be poor lighting that strains your eyes and makes your brain tired faster. It can be 8 unnecessary tabs open on your computer, silently waiting for your curiosity. It can be a notebook lying near you that reminds you of the tasks you haven't completed. It can even be a thought like, "I should reply to that message," sitting quietly in a corner of your mind. None of these seem big enough to break your focus, but together they create an invisible storm that scatters your attention. To build deep focus, you must learn to identify these silent enemies and remove them before you begin your work. Start by looking around your environment and asking yourself gently, is there anything here that might pull my attention later? If there are unnecessary objects on your desk, clear them. If your phone is within reach, place it somewhere else, even in another room if possible. If your workspace feels chaotic, take 1 minute to organize it. If your computer is filled with open tabs, close everything except what you need for this session. These small actions create a big shift in your mind because your brain feels safer, cleaner, and more focused when your environment is simple. But hidden distractions also exist inside you. Feelings you ignored, small worries sitting quietly in the background, unfinished thoughts, emotional tension. These are internal distractions. When you sit to focus, these suppressed thoughts rise and interrupt your attention. This is why taking a few slow breaths before working is so important. It gives your mind a moment to settle, to soften, to release what it is holding. Sometimes, writing down 1 or 2 thoughts on a piece of paper clears your mental space immediately. Just the act of acknowledging your thoughts reduces their power over you. Deep focus is not just the absence of noise. It is the absence of quiet disruptions that drain you without warning. When you remove hidden distractions, your mind becomes lighter. You feel clearer. You feel more present. You stop fighting your environment, and your attention becomes free to go deeper and deeper into your work. A clear environment creates a clear mind, and a clear mind creates powerful focus. When you eliminate what silently steals your attention, you make space for your best work, your deepest learning, and your strongest concentration. Tip 7. Push through the initial resistance to enter the flow state. Every great moment of deep focus begins with something difficult. Resistance. It is that uncomfortable feeling you get at the beginning of a task. The moment you sit down to work or study, Your mind starts whispering, "Not now, maybe later. I'm not ready. Let me just check something quickly." Even when you truly want to focus, your brain tries to escape. This resistance is natural. It happens because your mind is used to constant stimulation, quick changes, and easy tasks. Deep focus requires stillness, effort, and patience. 3 things your distracted brain is not familiar with. That is why, in the first few minutes, your mind feels restless, bored, uncomfortable, or tempted to run away. Most people give up here. They think the discomfort means they cannot focus, but the truth is the exact opposite. The discomfort means your mind is about to enter the deeper, more powerful stage of concentration. There is an invisible barrier between distraction and deep focus. On one side of the barrier, your mind jumps everywhere. On the other side, you enter the flow state, a state where concentration becomes effortless, time feels slower, your thoughts become sharper, and your work becomes enjoyable. But to reach that state, you must cross the barrier. This barrier lasts only a few minutes. It feels like a mental wall. It feels like your brain is trying to pull you away. It feels uncomfortable, and you may feel the urge to stop or switch tasks. But if you stay with your work just a little longer, if you breathe through the discomfort, if you keep your eyes on your task, if you let the initial resistance pass, you will enter the flow state. The flow state is where your best work happens. It is where your mind becomes fully absorbed in what you are doing. It is where learning becomes deeper, faster, and easier. It is where ideas become clearer and creativity becomes stronger. In this state, you are not forcing yourself to work. You are simply working. You are not fighting distraction. Distraction disappears on its own. You are not pushing yourself. Your mind is naturally engaged. The problem is that most people never reach this state because they quit too early. They stop at the door. They give up when the resistance appears, not knowing that the resistance is the final test before the breakthrough. To train yourself to reach the flow state, make a simple promise. When I feel resistance, I will give myself 5 more minutes. These 5 minutes are the bridge. They teach your mind that you are in control, not your impulses. And each time you cross the barrier, the resistance becomes weaker. Your mind begins to trust the process. It learns that deep focus is not dangerous, not uncomfortable, not overwhelming. It is peaceful. It is powerful. It is where you become your best self. The more often you cross this barrier, the faster you will enter the flow state in the future. What once took 15 minutes will take 5. What once felt difficult will begin to feel natural. And one day, you will sit to work, and your mind will slip quietly into focus without resistance, because you have trained it. You have reshaped it. You have shown it a better way to function. Flow is not luck. Flow is not magic. Flow is the reward for staying a little longer when your mind wants to run away. Those few minutes of patience open the door to hours of deep, meaningful, high-quality concentration. The kind of focus that can change your entire life. Tip 8. Strengthen your focus. Through deep, present moment. Listening. One of the most powerful ways to build deep focus is through the practice of present moment listening. Listening is not just a language skill. It is a mental discipline. When you listen deeply, you train your brain to stay with one stream of information, one voice, one meaning, one moment. But most people never truly listen. They hear words while their mind drifts elsewhere. They play audio lessons while checking their phone. They watch videos while scrolling through comments. They read while thinking about something completely different. This kind of scattered listening trains the brain to divide attention, and a divided attention cannot become a focused mind. Deep listening is different. Deep listening means giving your full awareness to a single voice, a single idea, a single moment, without letting your thoughts wander. When you listen this way, your brain strengthens the exact neural pathways responsible for concentration. You are literally training your mind to stay present. This is why deep listening is one of the best exercises for building focus, especially when learning English. When you listen with full presence, your mind becomes quieter, your thoughts become slower, and your awareness becomes sharper. Your brain begins to understand language more naturally because it is not fighting distractions. It is receiving the information in a calm, focused state. Imagine sitting down for a listening session. You place your phone far away. You breathe slowly. You tell yourself, for the next 20 or 30 minutes, I will only listen. You press play. And instead of thinking about how much you understand or don't understand, you simply allow the sound to enter your mind. You follow the rhythm. You follow the tone. You follow the meaning. Your awareness becomes completely absorbed in the voice. In this state, your brain learns faster than you expect. Sentences feel clearer. Words stay longer. Your understanding becomes deeper. What used to feel difficult becomes natural. Deep listening also quiets the emotional noise inside you. When you are fully focused on the present moment, worries about the past and the future lose their power. Your inner world becomes still. And it is in this stillness that true focus grows. Deep listening teaches your mind to stop running away. It teaches your awareness to settle. It teaches your attention to hold one thing with care and presence. And the more you practice listening in this way, the stronger your focus muscle becomes. You do not need perfection to practice deep listening. You only need presence. Even if your mind drifts, gently bring it back. Even if you lose focus, return without judgment. Each return makes you stronger. Each moment of awareness sharpens your mind. And soon, you will notice that you can focus longer, listen deeper, and understand faster. Not just in English, but in every area of your life. When you practice deep listening, you are not only learning a language, you are learning how to be present. You are learning how to control your attention. You are learning how to calm your thoughts. You are learning how to enter the mental state where deep focus naturally exists. Listening is not just hearing. Listening is awareness. Listening is discipline. Listening is attention. And deep listening is the doorway through which your mind learns to focus like never before. Tip 9. Give your mind real rest, because focus grows in recovery. Most people think that building deep focus means pushing the mind harder and harder. But this is one of the biggest misunderstandings about concentration. Your brain is not a machine. It is a living organ that gets tired, that becomes overstimulated, that needs time to reset. You cannot expect sharp focus from a mind that is exhausted. You cannot expect deep concentration from a brain that never gets rest. If your mind is constantly exposed to noise, screens, decisions, and emotional pressure, its ability to focus naturally becomes weaker. This is not a lack of discipline. This is biology. Your brain needs recovery just like your muscles do. But here is the important part. Real rest is not scrolling on your phone, watching random videos, or switching between apps. That type of rest continues to drain your attention because your mind is still processing rapid information. Real rest is quiet, gentle, and slow. It gives your brain a chance to breathe and settle. It brings your nervous system back to balance. It allows your thoughts to soften and your emotions to calm down. When your brain enters this restful state, something beautiful happens. Your focus returns naturally. Rest can be simple. A short walk without your phone, sitting in silence for a few minutes, drinking water slowly, looking at the sky, the trees, the floor, the ceiling, anything that pulls you away from stimulation. Stretching your body, closing your eyes and taking 3 deep breaths. Even doing nothing for 2 minutes can reset your mind deeply. When you give your brain these moments of stillness between deep work sessions, it processes information more efficiently. It organizes your thoughts, clears mental clutter, and prepares your attention for the next task. This is why techniques like the 25-5 method or the 40-10 method work so well. You focus deeply for a set amount of time, then rest gently for a short moment. This rhythm protects the brain from burnout and allows it to maintain high-quality concentration for longer periods. Without rest, your mind becomes dull and heavy, and no amount of motivation can make it focus. With rest, your mind becomes fresh, alive, and ready to dive deep again. Rest is not a reward you give yourself after working. Rest is part of the work. It is a tool that makes your focus stronger, clearer, and sharper. Many people feel guilty taking breaks, thinking it wastes time. But the truth is, a few minutes of real rest can save you hours of distracted work. A rested mind learns faster, thinks better, and focuses deeper. So the next time you feel your mind becoming slow, frustrated, or scattered, don't force it. Don't push it into more stress. Instead, pause. Close your eyes. Breathe. Let your mind relax. Because deep focus is born in deep rest. The quieter your brain becomes, the sharper your focus grows. The more you honor your need for recovery, the more powerful your concentration becomes. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It is the foundation of it. Tip 10. Protect your attention. Like it is the most valuable thing you own. If you truly want deep focus to become a permanent part of your life, you must learn to protect your attention with seriousness and respect. Your attention is not just a mental skill. It is your life force. Wherever your attention goes, your energy goes. Wherever your energy goes, your future grows. If your attention is constantly scattered on small things, your life becomes small. If your attention is consumed by distractions, your dreams remain unfinished. But when you protect your attention, when you choose carefully where you place your mind, when you guard your focus from unnecessary noise, your entire life begins to rise. Every great achievement in human history began with someone giving their full attention to one thing. Every masterpiece, every invention, every breakthrough, every transformation required deep focus. Not because those people were stronger or smarter, but because they protected their attention. They said no to distractions that did not serve them. They said no to activities that wasted their energy. They said no to the constant noise of the world so they could say yes to their purpose. Protecting your attention begins with awareness. Notice what steals your focus the most. Is it your phone? Is it social media? Is it endless scrolling? Is it overthinking? Is it emotional stress? Is it the habit of multitasking? Whatever it is, acknowledge it. Not with guilt, not with frustration, but with understanding. Because once you see the truth clearly, you can change it. When something tries to pull you away from your work, pause for 1 second and ask, is this worth my attention? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Protect your attention by creating boundaries, not for others, but for yourself. Decide specific times to check your phone. Decide how long you will work before taking a break. Decide which tasks matter today and which can wait. Decide who and what deserves your mental space. Protecting your attention is an act of self-respect. Every time you say no to a distraction, you say yes to your goals. Every time you refuse to give your attention to something meaningless, you strengthen your mind. Every time you stay with your work instead of escaping, you are building a version of yourself that is disciplined, powerful, and unstoppable. This is why deep focus is not only a skill, it is a way of life. It is a commitment to living intentionally, not automatically. It is the choice to guide your mind instead of letting the world guide it for you. And when you start protecting your attention, you will feel a profound change inside you. Your thoughts will become clearer. Your emotions will become calmer. Your work will become higher quality. Your learning will become deeper. Your English listening practice will become more effective. Your confidence will grow. Your days will feel more meaningful. And slowly, gently, beautifully, your life will begin to transform. Your attention is your most precious resource. It is the currency of your future. Spend it wisely, guard it carefully, and use it to build a life that reflects your highest potential, your deepest dreams, and your strongest values. Because when you protect your attention, you protect your destiny. Before this journey ends, I want you to take one final deep breath and feel the difference inside your mind. You did not just learn a set of techniques today. You learned how to understand yourself. You learned that your focus is not broken. It is simply waiting for the right environment. You learned that your mind becomes powerful when you give it stillness, clarity, and care. You learned that distractions lose their power when you choose presence over noise. And most importantly, you learned that deep focus is not something far away. It is something already inside you, something that grows every time you return to the present moment. From now on, when you sit to study, to work, or to practice English, remember the lessons you learned here. Remember to breathe. Remember to quiet your thoughts. Remember to choose one task with commitment. Remember to remove what pulls you away. Remember to rest when your mind needs it. Remember to protect your attention like it is the strongest part of your future. Because every time you focus deeply, you build a stronger, wiser, calmer version of yourself. Your mind is capable of amazing things. Your concentration can grow. Your discipline can rise. Your clarity can sharpen. And your life can transform simply by choosing to be present. So take these lessons with you, hold them gently, and let them guide your days. Your focus is your power. Your attention is your strength. And your future begins the moment you decide to use your mind with intention. Your journey doesn't end here. It begins here.